Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. I am your host Luke and you are the Cheap Shot Nation. Welcome to the new man cave, otherwise known as the Cheap Shot headquarters. It has now been nicely decorated, as you can see. I haven't got my green screen up yet, but you know, I quite like the background here. Let me know what you think over on all of the social media channels. But this video is to let you know what my thoughts are on the latest WWE pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, and that was 2021 at the Youngling Center in Tampa, Florida, on the 20th of June 2021. It also marks the end of the no fan era, because next month at Money in the Bank, we have fans back in the arenas and the Thunderdome is no more. Fingers crossed it will be the way forward, because this, compared to NXT, compared to AEW, it's just lacking that fan interaction. You know, you've got the people on the screens, which was an innovation for the time, but I'm going to be very happy when we get to see the fans back in the arenas. Not to mention the fact that obviously it's no secret that I was supposed to be going to WrestleMania this year, and yeah, it's nice to know that things are opening back up again. Aspire's back open as well for training, so shows are going to be happening there, and it looks like we're getting back to normality. So join us for the main part of the video. So we open up Hell in a Cell 2021, which is usually in sort of September, October, in June, with a Hell in a Cell match. It is the SmackDown Women's Championship that is on the line, and basically a match that had most things, including the use of the cell, including kendo sticks, chairs, and simple use of the cell, of course, because you know it's Hell in a Cell. You've got to be able to use the environment around you. So yeah, basically they use pretty much everything at their disposal. You could tell, or at least I thought, that these two, they're both brilliant. Bayley is just fantastic, and Bianca Belair is just a tremendous athlete all the way around, but you could tell that they were kind of protecting Bianca in this match. So there wasn't much interaction. I think they left that for the second Hell in a Cell, and obviously they also had a Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown, and it would be that they had one on Raw as well, so I don't think they wanted to overdo it too much, but they ended up doing that anyway. The match ends with the senton and the kiss of death, which is the reverse Death Valley driver, onto an unfolded ladder. Of course, I forgot to mention there was a ladder in this one as well, because why not keep a ladder underneath the ring? And I can confirm that it is something that's not just hiding under the WWE ring, but also under most wrestling rings, to put the ring up, because it's quite tall when you're doing it. So that is, Belair takes the victory in this one over Bayley. Where's Bayley going to go from here? I don't know. I've got no idea. But Belair moves on to her next opponent. Of course, we've got Money in the Bank. No doubt Bayley will be there or thereabouts. I'm going to give this one 3.5 cheap shots out of 5. It was a fun opener, good match, but you could tell they were slightly trying to protect Bianca Belair in this one, so they didn't put everything into it. That being said, still a really fun match, good opener, and it just proves the women's division on SmackDown is just tremendous, basically. Bianca Belair moves on. We next get a segment of the Alexia's Playground. It's a good job I've not got my Alexa in here, otherwise you might have heard her talking. Alexa's Playground promo saying that to expect the unexpected, but I already expected the unexpected, so there was no real need for you to tell me to expect the unexpected because I was expecting it anyway. Moving on, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, and let me tell you something, I could watch these guys all day, much like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We get that match later on as well, so we're very much spoiled for choice. I could watch these guys have matches every single week and never get bored. These two are absolutely fantastic. Seth Rollins is killing it just outside of the title picture. Cesaro is finally getting his little bit of a push as well, which is fantastic. And the match starts before the bell even rings because as Cesaro is making his way to the ring, Rollins gives him a cheap shot to start the match. Cesaro is then in full control for most of the match. Cesaro uses most things that are available to him, gets the upper hand, and rolls Rollins back into the ring to start the match before Rollins turns the tables in his own favour. Before Rollins turns the match in his own favour. Couple of European uppercuts to the corners. Obviously that is a charging European uppercut known by Cesaro is known for, sorry, it's been a long day. But this is then cut off and a miss on the curb stomp from Seth Rollins. Cesaro hits a power slam to get the first near fall of the match. We get 3 following near falls from Rollins, and Rollins is in control at this one. But a surprise roll up from Rollins takes the control back from Cesaro, and Rollins wins. Now this one would have got a much better score if we didn't get to see another surprise roll up. You know, we laugh and joke at Simon Miller when he says the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, but it quite possibly is. I've not seen anyone kick out of a surprise roll-up yet. There needs to be a counter for this thing. I mean, it's more devastating than the sharpshooter. Anyway, another great match. This one would have made more sense being in a Hell in a Cell because it is kind of a blow-off match, but you know, they've both got one match each now. They've both got one win each. You can imagine these two will be in and around the Money in the Bank picture as well in July. And really good match. Could actually, and I've said this, I could actually watch these two over and over and over again. And if they were on Raw, that's probably exactly what you get, but I'd never get bored of it. So there you go. That is just my take on this match. Again, let me know what you thought of this match on social media channels or in the comments section down below. And we'll move on to the next match. So we next get Shayna Baszler versus Alexa Bliss. Of course, we're going to expect some shenanigans in this one, so hold on to your seats. We do actually get remnants of an actual match here though. Shayna Baszler showing exactly what she is about, manipulating those joints, and the most legitimate women's wrestler in the company is now being reduced to fighting with a witch and a doll. Come on! This is WWE, right? You know, just put Shayna Baszler in the title picture and let her win. Just let her win. She's got everything you need to be a champion. Yes, time is not on her side, so give her a championship now. You put it straight on Ronda Rousey. Why not give it to Shayna Baszler? She was the most dominant woman in NXT history up until the point that Io Shirai got the championship. but I always thought that Shayna Baszler's run with the NXT Women's Championship was much more entertaining and varied. Like I say, we get some remnants of joint manipulation, get some remnants of an actual match here. It's fun to see Alexa Bliss actually wrestle a match as this character. I'm intrigued by this character now. But Jax is manipulated as well by Alexa Bliss. Apparently she has mind control, and mind controls her to slap Reginald around the face, and let's face it, we all wanted to see that happen anyway. No doubt you will guess what happened here. It's a little bit of a throwaway match. Alexa Bliss hits the Twisted Bliss and the match ends there. So Alexa Bliss does win this match. We saw a little bit of what makes Baszler, and it was nice to see for a little short amount of time. Bit of a throwaway match, but the storyline continues. I mean, as bad as it was to see Baszler get manipulated like that, I'm kind of interested in Alexa Bliss's character going forward. Now she's actually wrestling matches rather than just turning up and being all witchy and scary and stuff. I'm going to give this one 1.5 cheap shots out of 5. I wish I could give it a little bit more, but this is my take on it. When it was good, it was really, really good, and when it was bad, it was wicked. But we pick up the pace now because we've got the other match that I could watch over and over and over again. It is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, because you have to say it like you're a ghost, otherwise it doesn't sound right. This one was an absolute roll from start to finish. Little notes here: Kevin Owens is selling the throat from the Nigerian nail that he received on SmackDown the previous Friday night. Little details like that is what makes wrestling good and entertaining in my book. Now, could watch these two over and over and over and never get bored. Owens selling, like I say, the Nigerian nail, and Zayn working on that. He also takes out his arm as well, so no pop-up powerbomb. However, Owens can still run about and throw himself at Sami Zayn, which he does. And this has to be one of the matches that's got to be, you go through history. There's a point where Owens and Sami Zayn had finished their feud, but I'm so glad they brought it back. I'm so glad. I'm really, really glad. Back and forth encounter, this one, between the two, and Owens, like I say, was favouring the arm all the way through, still selling the throat, which was a nice little touch. Owens manages to hit the stunner after the two battle round the outside of the ring, and apparently that is fine. We'll get to that little comment in a little while, but Zayn beats the count into the ring. So the stunner, Sami Zayn rolls out, Zayn beats the count. The match finishes with a haluva kick, and Sami Zayn finally picks up the win. This match was damn near perfect, and I'm going to give this one 4.5 cheap shots out of 5, and I do agree with Sami on this one. Justice is served. And he tells Michael Cole that, and I love Sami Zayn. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love these two guys. Whatever they're doing, they could be, making pottery, and it would still be entertaining. Don't think that it's not entertaining to watch people make pottery. Maybe there's some people out there that like that kind of thing. Anyway, moving on. Again, no doubt these two will be in and around the Money in the Bank ladder match come July, and I'm itching to know what they're going to do to top last year's, because last year's was great. Obviously, it would just be a normal Money in the Bank ladder match in the ring, which kind of disappoints me because I want to actually go back and watch the climb the corporate ladder match from last year in the Money in the Bank briefcase match. But brilliant, actually really good, and possibly the highlight for me of the whole night, with Cesaro and Rollins coming a close second. As I mentioned earlier, we did get a SmackDown Hell in a Cell match, the first ever Hell in a Cell match to appear on SmackDown, and damn, did this one look really good. It was Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio. I'm not quite sure of the ins and outs of why this was on SmackDown, but I mean, it saved there being 3 Hell in a Cell matches on one pay-per-view, which would have been a bit overkill. Which is fine, you know, this match was really good. I'm sure there was reasons behind having it on SmackDown as well, but dang, I wish this had made the pay-per-view. Moving on to the Raw Women's Championship next. It is the challenger Charlotte versus the champion Rhea Ripley, who's had the title since WrestleMania and not really done terribly much with it, unlike Bianca Belair on SmackDown. She's still defending it, she's still trying to find her feet on the main roster. There's no real character development there, apart from her shaving a bit of her eyebrow and laughing at people. I suppose that's a bit Bayley-ish, but Bayley does it better. So, of course, here the focus is going to be on the legs, which provide the power for Rhea Ripley and also provide the finish for Charlotte. So again, little details. You know, if you're going to finish someone with a leg submission, you want to work the legs, and that is what Charlotte does very well. So the focus is on the legs of Rhea for this one, for most of this match, and you know, leading up to the possibility of hitting the figure 8 later on. Rhea showing her power to keep battling back. It was all Charlotte in the early going. Like I say, Rhea keeps battling back in this one. This is a very hard hitting affair between these two. Possibly one of the best matches I've seen with these two women in the match. And gave them more of a chance to work with each other, which is great because Charlotte is really experienced and Rhea needs the experience as the Raw Women's Champion. She's been brought up from NXT UK, she's been brought up from NXT, and she's had a meteoric rise right up to the Raw Women's Championship, which is absolutely fine with me. Just wish they'd do something to develop her character a little bit more that made her so interesting in both of those other two brands. Both ladies landing big shots here, but Charlotte is absolutely focused on taking that championship for a record time. Rhea hits Charlotte with the tabletop after more battling in and outside the ring, and a figure 4 locked in on Rhea. Make sure she crawls out of the ring, and that leads to the ladies being on the outside of the ring. Rhea Ripley is disqualified for using the top of the table. Right. Okay. Possibly the dumbest DQ finish I've seen for a long time, and I've seen my fair share of dumb DQ finishes. You know, most of the matches on this night, they did battle on the outside. It wasn't just the Hell in a Cell matches that had elements of hardcore in them. Most of the matches did. You look at Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they were beating the snot out of each other inside and outside the ring. But Rhea Ripley uses the top of the table and it's a DQ. I wish I could give this more points, but my gosh, this was dumb. Losers loads of points this one. I really enjoyed this match, but for me the finish made no sense whatsoever. The battle on the outside for ages, and even used the steps at one point. You know, if you're going to DQ someone, why not DQ them for using the steel steps against their opponent? Why is the table any different? Otherwise, a very good match. Quite disappointed with the ending of this one, as you can tell, and I know I'm not the only one, so let me know what you thought of the ending of this match. We move on to the final match actually. The main event is another Hell in a Cell match. It is the WWE Championship that is on the line, and it is Drew McIntyre, the former two-time champion, versus the almighty Bobby Lashley. And the stipulation here is that if Drew McIntyre does not win the championship, he cannot go for another chance at the championship as long as Bobby Lashley is the champion. So McIntyre, he knows what he's got to do. He is on an absolute tear. He is dominant for the early part of this match. He uses kendo sticks, steel chairs, tables, and he takes down the Almighty with every single blow. It looks like Bobby Lashley has been lacerated on the cell as well. There's lots of use of the gigantic red crate that they lower over the ring. But this is the point where Lashley snaps. You know, it's like, I'm not taking this anymore. He comes back, he gets cut off again. More use of the cell, more use of the chairs, and there's a table set up in the corner which we'll see used later on. McIntyre goes for a top rope chair shot for some insane reason, and this is countered straight into the hurt lock. However, McIntyre does fight out, delivers a spinebuster and a powerbomb, but he cannot put the Almighty away. Lashley snaps, rams Drew McIntyre into the cell via the stairs. As Drew McIntyre is trying to hit Bobby Lashley, just pushes him back into the cell and keeps doing it and doing it. Absolutely brutal. McIntyre gets pinned in the corner with a kendo stick, and of course, you know, throwback to 1997, MVP gives Bobby Lashley a cane. Anyway, bad jokes. Anyway, the struggle is real here as Bobby Lashley throws McIntyre with chair in hand straight into the referee, and this has to be one of the most fun ref bumps I've ever seen. They don't use them very much in WWE, and you know, I would take a ref bump over a surprise roll up any day, because it only lasts for a certain amount of time, of course. Second referee comes down, he unlocks the cage, MVP joins them in the cage, and this is now where the focus changes to MVP, the interference and all that kind of stuff. Takes out MVP with Claymore, but gives Lashley the opportunity to hit the hurt lock, and Drew McIntyre, very innovative, I told you the table would come into play here, just walks backwards into the table and takes out Bobby Lashley. And we move on. McIntyre misses the Claymore, but Lashley drops McIntyre through another table which is set outside from the apron. Spear is missed, future shock DDT from McIntyre. Claymore is stopped via MVP, and the surprise roll up gets the win for Lashley. So the almighty roll up we get to see one more time. That's 2 times in this show. And a screwy DQ. Right. Not impressed. I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 cheap shots. It was a really good match right up until that point. Just wish we could have seen Bobby Lashley just rip and tear against McIntyre, you know, stop him completely, make himself believable as the almighty Bobby Lashley. Unfortunately, it was not to be this time, but I'm really looking forward to Money in the Bank to see what happens there. And so that is everything that happened at not Money in the Bank, it was Hell in a Cell. I'm all confused because Hell in a Cell is usually in October. That was everything that happened at Hell in a Cell in June. God. And we're moving on to Money in the Bank, going into July and then obviously into SummerSlam. So Money in the Bank marks, as I said, it marks the first time that fans will be back in venues on a main WWE pay-per-view since March last year. And I think even earlier, because it was WrestleMania that they had to stop people going to the shows. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how things change because of that. If you watched Hell in a Cell and you thought it was good, bad, whatever, let us know in the comments section down below. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Keep with us here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. Stay with us, Cheap Shot Nation. There's going to be more things coming as the world opens up again, and we'll get more focus on the British independent wrestling scene as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Join us on social media, that is Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Let us know there what your thoughts are on this pay-per-view, and I will see you next time on Cheap Shot Entertainment. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.